Magic 96, your one-stop shop for all things movies. From reviews, unboxings, and collections, I'm here to celebrate the magic of cinema. Now, let's roll the film. So today, we are talking about a new Instagram picture that James Gunn recently posted. It shows James and Zack Snyder together, and the caption reads, "Always a pleasure catching up with my friend Zack Snyder, a consummate filmmaker and a double consummate storyteller." Now this post has over 147,000 likes in 2 days. Brief backstory to their careers. In 2004, Zack Snyder directed the Dawn of the Dead remake and James Gunn wrote the screenplay. James Gunn started his dive into the superhero genre in 2014, directing and writing Guardians of the Galaxy. He also wrote and directed Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. Now, I do also want to talk about James Gunn being fired from Marvel, in case you are just hearing about this or don't remember the full story. Gunn was supposed to direct Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, but in July 2018, some of his old tweets resurfaced in which he made controversial jokes. These tweets, which were posted before he joined Marvel, for lack of a better term, blew up on the internet. Disney, who owns Marvel, decided to cut ties with Gunn, stating that the jokes were inconsistent with their values. But after backlash from fans and cast members, including a letter from the Guardians cast supporting James, Disney reconsidered its decision, and in March 2019, Gunn was rehired to direct Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. The plot twist, though, was during his time away from Marvel, he was also hired by Warner Brothers to direct The Suicide Squad in 2021, which eventually led him to become co-CEO of DC Studios. His next project is the upcoming July release of the movie Superman. And after that film, at least at this time of the recording, Supergirl, A Woman of Tomorrow, is set to release in 2026. But James is only producing that film. Also, James's vision of a DCEU reboot has divided its fans. Mainly his decision to recast Henry Cavill, which in my mind was the best Superman. Although, let's be honest, Christopher Reeves was the most iconic. This creates two camps for fans, Gunn versus Snyder. Now, Zack had started his comic book career in 2006 when he wrote and directed an adaptation of the comic book limited series 300 by Frank Miller and Lynn Varley. And with that film, he quickly carved out his own certain style as a filmmaker. He followed up that film directing a graphic novel film version of Watchmen, which to me is a masterpiece. Next comes his involvement with DC. He was brought on as a director and producer in the early 2010s to help shape the DCEU. His involvement started with directing Man of Steel in 2013, followed by Batman v Superman, Dawn of Justice in 2016, and Justice League in 2017. But during the production of Justice League, Snyder stepped away or was quietly fired from the film due to his daughter Autumn passing away. Now I'm changing the specific word because the video will get flagged. Then Joss Whedon was brought in to finish the film. He then reshot significant portions and altered the tone, leading to a final product that disappointed many fans and actors alike, as there are multiple reports by cast and crew that Whedon was abusive on set. After years of fans chanting from the mountains to release the Snyder Cut, Warner Bros. Allowed Snyder to complete his vision, releasing Zack Snyder's Justice League in 2021 on HBO Max. As for Batman v Superman, Dawn of Justice 2016, Snyder's original version was darker and much longer, but Warner Bros. Forced him to trim it down for the theatrical release, cutting key story elements. The studio wanted to prioritize a more commercially viable runtime and tone to mimic what Marvel did at the time. This led to a confusing narrative. There were even discussions regarding a continuation since there are originally 2 films left in Snyder's 5-film arc. Also, side note, he did write and produce a sequel to 300 called 300 Rise of an Empire. He was also executive producer of 2016's Suicide Squad, writer and producer of 2017's Wonder Woman, which no one really gave him credit for, that phenomenal movie, executive producer of Aquaman in 2018, and unfortunately, a producer of the awful Wonder Woman 1984 in 2020. On to my thoughts about the photo. Now, I do want to speculate just for fun, but at the same time, I didn't want to make a clickbaity title. So do I think Zack Snyder is coming back to DC? Well, unfortunately, no. As much as I'd love to see him return, DC has made it clear who their new visionary mastermind is. But then again, why would James post this photo? He knows it would lead to speculation and throw the fandom into a frenzy. And why did he commend Zack's films? He could have just said, caught up with an old friend, or something else if there was nothing happening to quiet the background noise. I mean, maybe it was a behind-the-scenes meeting to toss out ideas, or it was just two friends who've known each other for over 20 years, and they met up to hang out and shoot the breeze for a day. Honestly though, I could see ZACK coming back to either write or produce a film in the new DCEU. I don't think he'd want to direct a film, but since he's close with James and is a huge comic book nerd and fan, never say never. I want to do a quick shout out to my buddy Steve, who is a massive Zack Snyder and Superman fan. And at some point, I'll be doing a more in-depth review of my favorite Zack and James movies. But what do you think about this photo? Is it nerds just freaking out for no reason, or is it a subtle hint of what's to come? Don't you find it ironic that both of these geniuses were fired from the two biggest comic book enterprises? And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Also, check me out on Letterboxd and Instagram at MovieMagic1996. Thank you so much for everything, and go watch a movie today.